everything you should know about me.
I specialize in a very specific type of security. Subconscious security.
You're talking about dreams.
Inception, which is the thing you take when you don't want to have babies.
Sex education classes in Waco.
This is sad. So there's probably a bunch of little Corys running around that you're gonna get invited onto the Maury Povich show to find out about.
What do you mean, probably?
It's all these ticking time bombs. Just gonna go, Daddy.
It's just like a gang of Negroes just waiting to beat my ass. Yeah, motherfucker, we've been waiting.
Well, you better keep him away from Mel Gibson's girlfriend.
A pack of That's the pack of niggas that's waiting to rape his girlfriend.
It is.
Mel Gibson was talking about me, yeah.
Oh, wait, it's supposed to be Tribe, right?
Of course, yeah.
You know, Tribe's less insulting than Pack.
Like,
No.
yeah, what is this? Where is this going?
No. Inception, the meaning of inception is to actually plant an idea or to begin something or to initiate something.
Seed of some kind.
Ooh, he got a new dictionary.
Idea. No, I got Wikipedia.
You looked it up
You
right
put it
before we started.
somewhere where it should not be, I think.
It's a heist film crossed with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Matrix, except instead of trying to steal something, they're trying to put something someplace.
Aren't we all?
And
right.
it made it as long as all those movies put together.
Oh, no.
Hey, I did not mind
Oh,
that.
you guys are going to be the one critic
Yes.
group in the world?
No, I'm going to be bullied into changing my opinion to match all the other critics.
Well, hey, guess what? It's 2 against 2 tonight, so
Oh,
there.
yeah.
bitches.
My
Yeah.
side. That
The
means
us against the pack of Negroes.
auto win having co-hosts on your
we ain't
side.
above raping the two of y'all.
I know. We're about to have an Inception death match right here tonight. I can tell already. And thank God, because I thought I was going to have to fight all y'all off alone. Because I talked to Cyrus earlier today, and he almost had that tone like, he said, what you think about the movie? And I told him, he's like, well, I'm really disappointed to hear that.
I was, because honestly, you, if anyone, I expected would really like
Yeah.
it, because I did get a lot of that, as I said, Eternal Sunshine feeling in the way that it put its story together, that it was surreal, and yet it was comprehensible at the same time.
Well,
I thought for sure, because I know how much you love that you would, glom onto this in the same way.
Well, you make a good point there, because Christopher Nolan said that not only was he influenced by The Matrix, but he was also influenced by a movie that I really love, which is Dark City.
And Blade Runner.
Oh, wow.
Well, and then he's naming his influences, which were The Matrix, Dark City, and 13th Floor.
Well, he specifically listed Blade Runner in 2001 as well.
I can see that.
Jeez,
Because
so everything he's ever liked, really.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause
exactly.
honestly, that's what I picked up. It did remind me a lot of those films, but it's like he took those concepts, at least for me, and just made them that much more better,
Well,
honestly.
he did something new. He genuinely did something new, and I marvel. At first, with the first half of the film, I'm saying, man, this guy's got some balls setting this up. How is he possibly going to put all this together in a satisfying way? And then he completely went past my expectations in the way that he did it. It was almost more than I could stand watching it, in the sense that I was just sitting there marveling at how he had crafted it.
But you know what? I have to give him credit for being one of the directors, which I've been so bothered by a lot of these directors who give out their influences when you read about the movie that they're making, and when you watch the movie, you see all those blatantly. It's like they're not paying homage; they're ripping them off strictly. And with this, he doesn't do that.
See, you guys are clowns to me, because you're saying all this like,
Well, hey, you dress like a clown.
He put in all these things that he loved, yet we see so many other movies where they do that, and you guys like, oh, they ripped off this, and they ripped off this, they ripped off
Because
that.
there's a big
Suddenly he
difference.
does it,
There's
and
a
like,
huge
he's a
difference.
genius.
No.
He's an
No.
all-tool.
Now,
Because
you're
when he
taking
does
that-
it, you don't think
now hold
about
on,
it
yo.
until like
I gotta
way
say, I
after
know
the
there's gonna be heated right here.
Yeah,
but
you're taking that someplace else. You're
Yeah,
taking
you
our words and twisting them because that's what you want
I'm
to hear.
taking your words.
That's
and-
not what we're saying
I'm taking
at
your
all.
words and reading them right
Now,
back
you
Are
to you.
you
know
trying to pull
all
an
too-
Inception right now, Leon?
You're
Is that
saying
what
that
trying to
saying
do?
someone is clearly influenced by something is the same thing as ripping someone off, then we can go back through reviews where you've said this was clearly influenced by this.
I got
and
them all
liked
right
it
here. Just let me
anyway.
know
Man,
when.
you were defensive over this
Well,
review.
of course I am, because that was a ridiculous thing to say,
No,
Leon.
Wait, no, we sat here last week.
That was an insane
But Leon, look, the
accusation.
thing is, Leon, you're making it.
Hey, wait a minute. This is what I'm saying. Hey, wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Because I got to say, this is going to be a bitch to edit if y'all keep talking over each other like this.
I'm saying that is not a fair thing to say at all. You're jumping it to an entirely different semantical zone, and
No,
that's
I'm not.
accurate.
No,
to say
I'm
something
not.
is
And
influenced, to say something is influenced by something is not the same thing to say it's ripping it off. I'm sorry, it's just not.
They're doing the same thing. Last week with with Predators. It was all about, oh yeah, it ripped off this from this movie and this from this movie, but you couldn't give it the leeway to say it was influenced by that?
No, I never said that. I said it directly took lines from those movies as a tribute to those films, and I couldn't figure out why those were there.
Actually, he did say that.
No, I'll give
So
him that.
don't put words in my mouth here, okay?
I'm
And either way,
Hey, Leon, don't incept in his mouth.
if someone is clearly taking an entire scene, lock, stock, and barrel, or something that's like just not theirs and not doing anything new or creative with it, then that's stealing. That is so not what was going on in Inception. I'm sorry.
I have to agree, because you know what? I honestly didn't think about any of it until after the film.
Really? That's all I could think about the entire time.
Even other people after the film was like, you know what? This movie, some of these scenes reminded me of a scene in Blade Runner, and I was like, wow, fooled me. But yeah, in a way, you're right. He kind of redid the idea to where you would just never think about that.
This movie deals with Leonardo DiCaprio's character named Cobb, and it's a world where the technology enables you to go into people's dreams. Now, you can go into people's dreams to either steal something, or you can influence how a person lives out the rest of their life by going in and planting an idea. In fact, he says the biggest unstoppable parasite in the world is an idea. That is the method of inception. So in this movie, Ken Watanabe, who plays Sato Salto, whatever, he's the corporate head of an energy company. And he says, I want you to go to this other competing guy and go into his dream and plant an idea who will stop him from getting the edge over us.
Yeah, but from basically once his father has died, taking his father's company and forming an unstoppable energy monopoly, which would basically put an end to Ken Watanabe's company.
Yeah. And who was that? Cillian Murphy? Is that?
It's Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy plays the guy that they're actually trying to go into his head and stop from competing with this other guy. Leonardo DiCaprio has to go out and assemble a team. I mean, I guess in this world is not too many people know about it, but it's not an uncommon occurrence to assemble a team of people to help you do this. And in this film, he has Ellen Page, and he also has, what's that boy's name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's this movie really continues to make him one of my favorite actors.
He really shines like crazy in this movie.
One of the best people working today in his age group.
Yeah, and old crazy ass looking Lucas Haas.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So like poor Lucas.
And seeing his ass.
Poor, he's in a fucking great movie.
Yeah, that's true. But a small role, but you know.
Look, all I know is y'all clearly have not seen Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors in a while.
I live Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors. What are you talking about?
I know you.
The whole time I was watching this movie, I was like, okay, this is gonna be fucking badass. This is gonna be better than sex if fucking Freddy pops up at the very end to like destroy everything.
Freddy gonna pop up with his lawyer in Chris Nolan's bedroom. Hey, motherfucker, you ripped me off. By the way, I love Dark Knight. but no, you know, now here's my deal with the movie.
To be fair, DreamQuest did it first. But
DreamQuest or Dreamscape?
I was about to say Dreamscape. I was about to mention that too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movies that
although
have
they probably did. I'm sure there's a French film somewhere rotting on an indie French director's aisle in some crappy video store somewhere in Austin that's by some guy in the 50s like, I did that first, thank you very much.
Your dreams are mine. I mean, here's the deal with this film. Christopher Nolan, I give him credit because I do have problems with this movie, and I'm probably leaning more towards Leon. Our problem somewhere between you guys that loved it and him, because if somebody's going to not exactly reach what I consider the goal of what they were trying to do, I'd rather them do it ambitiously like this and do it in a way that's genuinely creative instead of somebody that just doesn't care and they're out there doing it for money. And that's what I thought Christopher Nolan was doing in this movie. I thought that this is a script that he worked on for, I think, about 9 to 10 years. It took 6 months for him to finish writing the script. This is obviously an idea that he cared about, and it showed in his direction. My problem with the film is that it goes into the subconscious, and it questions what reality is. And there's so many layers to what he's doing that by the second half of this film, it gets so crazy. I mean, it is a labyrinth of a narrative.
I agree.
That I don't. I hear a lot of people who really want to love this film say you'll have to go back a second or third time to really get what they're saying. I'm thinking like, nah, it got a little muddled, and I don't think that it really achieved what it was trying to do story-wise.
See, I don't agree with you at all. I think that it achieved exactly what it was trying to do in that. I mean, wow, let's not have people go back and see our film a second or third time. Why would you want that?
Well, no, and there's some movies that I think that do it for. Well, hold on. There's some movies I think where it's so entertaining that yeah, I do want to go back and see the second time. I don't want to go back and do work trying to figure out this movie.
You know,
I didn't
the thing
think of it
is
as work. I thought it was pure pleasure.
I think it's one of those films that, if you're not really paying attention, if you're not one to really focus on what's going on with the story, because with this story, you do have to focus. I mean, I honestly read something you wrote me, was like, you got to really pay attention to what's going on. And I did that, and the thing is, I had a fun time paying attention to what was going on, especially with each, I guess, every time they were in the dreamscape or the dream world.
So you admit they ripped them off?
No, well, of course. Well, I mean, yeah, of course they ripped them all off. No,
I'm kidding. I'm joking. I don't think he ripped off anybody.
No, how they were going into the subconscious and the subconscious. I was really fascinated throughout the whole way through. And yeah, there's a lot of exposition as far as them explaining in the beginning how this world is set up and how it works.
They have to.
And the thing is, I heard somebody complain about that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm glad they did that, because there was never a moment where it made me stop and think, okay, now why is this happening? How can this happen?
You create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their subconscious.
How could I ever acquire enough detail to make them think that it's reality?
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange. Let me ask you a question. You never really remember the beginning of a dream, do you? You always wind up right in the middle of what's going on.
I guess, yeah.
So how did we end up here?
Well, we just came from the,
Think about it, Ariadne. How did you get here? Where are you right now?
We're dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in shared dreaming.
Corey, you said something that's absolutely correct in your criticism of it, which is basically that, like, I don't think that a lot of people want this. You were saying, I don't think a lot of people would enjoy going and sitting through this, that it's work. And you're right. I don't disagree with you at all. But you said something very wrong when you said the film didn't do out what it set out to do. It's not making it for huge general audiences completely. I mean, there's a lot of people who are going to love this just as much as they love Memento, which is another film that a lot of people reacted to, just like you're describing this one, of saying, look, I don't want to have to sit and think this hard during a movie to understand the basics of what's going on. But there's a lot of us who really do want that.
Well, here's
this
the deal.
is like a beautifully and intricately crafted puzzle box.
Yeah, I think so. And just so I can say this, I'm not speaking for everybody.
Sure.
Because it's objective.
How can you?
Yeah, a lot of people are going to see this and get exactly what they want.
Sure.
I myself, and I did pay attention. I just found what happened near the end. Actually, I really found kind of silly. And I think that, for me, where some people will want to try to figure this out, to me, even when it's all put together, it's not going to completely make sense.
Yeah, if I could jump in here and just say that, like, look, it's not for me, but I don't begrudge that you guys like it. It's not one of those movies where I don't like it and I go like, you're stupid for liking that. I get it. But for me, it was way too long. Like, I love Memento. I like doing the work for that hour and a half. But at this almost 3 hours of people talking about dreaming, I'm like, wow, going to sleep right now sounds like a good idea.
And that's a lot. There's a lot of that.
But Corey, you brought up a good thing to where it's such a labyrinth of this point to where there's points in the middle or toward the end where I kind of got lost, just emotionally on what was the goal we were searching for in the first place. And honestly, if I was to retitle this movie, it would be called Exposition, because it didn't just explain everything in the beginning. They were constantly explaining and stopping to explain. For like the first hour and a half of the movie, it stopped and explained. It was like a movie that was like, it was so afraid of having a plot hole that it just stopped to explain everything. So you couldn't go like,
I would say that wrong differently though than you. I mean, you're not wrong. There is constant exposition because it is that complicated. But I would say it wasn't that they were afraid of having a plot hole. It's that they wanted to make a tight film, as other way of saying it, which is exactly what they got.
And I give them complete credit, because I'm really getting tired of a lot of these movies that get so lazy because they have these high concept ideas that they don't want to wear out the audience by explaining it, to where when you're watching the movie, there's points where you just logic doesn't work. and you're left wondering, okay, now here's several plot holes that I just don't understand. If they were to take the time to explain that to me, and I thought with this film, they definitely did that, and I did it, and I thought they did it to where it fascinated me, and I'm no genius,
and
I understood it.
But for me, I was worn down by the explanation. I'm willing to let some things go and go like, okay, maybe this is how it works, and I'm a ride with it. But it was spent so much time with explanation that I got like a really cool fight scene, but I didn't get the character development that I needed from the other characters. I mean, I got to know Leonardo DiCaprio, what he was about, but with Ellen Page and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm like, I don't really know what their story is prior to just where it centers around this.
And that's the one criticism that I will at least partially agree with you on. And the reason why, quite frankly, this is not going to be better than Sex for me is because it doesn't have quite the emotional impact that it wants to have. I mean, I was marveling at this film all the way through, but it was in a kind of a studied way. It was like, I am getting such pleasure out of watching this thing come together because it's gorgeous and intricate, but I'm not really feeling much for the actual characters outside of the purpose that they serve as pieces of this puzzle.
Now, see, Cyrus, we have a point.
On this. Well, see, now that's where I kind of disagree. I understand exactly what you're saying because, yeah, they don't give you enough background as far as Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character or even Ellen Page, so much besides that she's the architecture of this world she's creating to fool this guy. Knowing that, though, I still cared about them. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I mean, Corey, you were fascinated by him. And you know what the thing is? You saying that's telling me, regardless of what lack of really character he was given, you're rooting for the guy. I mean, there's an amazing, probably one of the most amazing fight scenes I've seen in the longest time that really made me go, holy shit, wow, like really took me out of my seat. I think along with the rest of the audience in that theater watching the scene where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fighting in this this hallway
without giving anything away.
In this hallway, but it's an amazing fight scene. And I was like, what? It really blew me.
It's the highest concept action sequence.
Well, a lot of people are gonna look at it and say that, well, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. I even think Christopher Nolan's been like, I've never seen anything like that before. But I'm saying it's still great. They brought something that they've done in the past to great effect here. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's ever seen Royal Wedding with Fred Astaire, where he's dancing on the ceiling?
Yes. But it's different because of the way that this is explained.
I'm not complaining.
No.
And also, hey, look, but I'll tell you what they did rip off. They ripped off Lionel Richie. Dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah, once again.
I saw Lionel Richie in the background floating around in that fight scene. He was fighting his wife. that white wife he had.
Yeah, so they want to beat his ass with karate.
Yeah, she's still whooping his ass in some people's dreams. I think it was used to great effect. That's one thing I can say.
Leon's like, yeah, the movie felt like it went on all night long.
All night long.
I'm telling you, when this review is over, I totally expect to be actually asleep somewhere dreaming all this.
Yeah, no, man, I really thought that was cool. Cause see, in the second half of the movie, I really do like this movie. You already know I don't like it as much as you do, but I'm trying to like criticize this movie and say that I am in that minority of people who's not going to like it as much as everybody else, but it's something that is so well done that I'm not going to tell people not to do it. And all that stuff in the beginning where they are explaining dreams, I found all that fascinating. The whole thing of like, well, our subconscious will turn on us to like let us know that you don't belong in our dreams. The people who are walking around, they're part of our subconscious, but they also work as like white blood cells who will attack to get you out of the dream. Yeah,
or like agents that'll kill you in the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, except you didn't die is the difference here. Pretty sizable difference in story.
No, it only got to a point where it was like, all right,
No, pretty sizable difference.
Sizable.
The problem with explaining so much though is that you really have to follow through with what you're explaining, and a lot of people are right in and tell me it was because of this and because of that, but there was something that happened in the climax of this film where they created another layer of reality. And you're thinking, where did this come from? Because nobody was prepared to go here for it to be like this.
And how they explained everything to the minute detail except that.
They did talk about it. They spent a long time talking about it earlier.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
The final layer of the dream?
I know what you're talking about.
The final layer of the dream.
Yes.
Yeah, they talked about that earlier.
I know, but it didn't.
At length.
Man, we can't talk. See, that's the thing.
I can't talk about it.
I know. Damn it.
You can't talk about it without spoiling this shit.
I'll come into your head in a little bit.
Don't come into my head when I'm asleep.
And
I've
then-
already got a date tonight.
Yeah, no,
You don't want to be in his head.
I know. Man. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be like an Aphex Twin
Yeah, I
video.
know. You're gonna end up looking like RuPaul, and he's gonna try to seduce you.
Real life is one thing, but in my dreams, man, I'm gonna incept some shit.
Well, look, we ain't got the technology they got in this movie. I got to get in your head one way or another. So you better wear some earmuffs tonight. I'm gonna be on the side of your head. You really didn't like this movie as much as you thought you
You're gonna
did.
be like that
And,
little
and a mouth guard.
that little thing crawling into Chekhov's ear in
Yeah.
Star Trek.
That'll be me.
Corey.
Pulling me out
Yeah,
your
little
ear.
Corey Word.
No, you know, man, I just it was in that second half too. I was really conflicted because a lot of those complaints I was talking about, it's where a lot of your cool action goes. I mean, they have a scene where they play with time. And the time is determined by which layer of reality you're on.
Yeah.
So there's one scene that they construct to add tension, while the other scene, the action is continuing. But at the same time, like I said, at this point, there were these long laps of things that weren't going on. And Leon, you were right. 2.5 hours for this particular movie, too long. And I'm not one to complain. Memento, I was fine with. People who complained about The Dark Knight, I was like, I don't see any complaints. You can made it 3 hours.
And that's the thing with me. Like I did hear a lot of people just say, yeah, it was really long. And honestly, it made me think about people who complained about The Dark Knight, where I didn't want The Dark Knight to end. Honestly, with this movie, I could have stayed there for another hour.
And see,
I feel the same
being
way.
fascinated
And
by
see,
it.
I felt those minutes when they said, "Hey, dreams are extended by an hour for every minute here." I'm like, man, y'all into that? Yeah, I'm in that mode now watching this.
Well, see, and I was like, I'm
Hour
ready.
movie there, but in dreams it's only 15 minutes.
yeah, I'll take the dream version of this.
It's funny you say you loved the beginning or the first half and didn't like the second half. I just liked the first half. I was like, this is really interesting, but let's see where this goes. I mean, every minute of it is like, okay, what are you going to do with this? And I thought the second half was nothing but a gigantic payoff for everything they set up. I mean, is it hard to keep up with what's going on? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
5-layer deep dream going on where every layer relates to every other layer. I mean, it's complicated, but it's also packed with action. There's shit going on everywhere. I mean, I just don't understand. To me, it was like I couldn't do anything but just sit there and take it all in, just be amazed by it.
And you know what? If I had a hat to tip off, I'd tip it off to the cinematographer.
Oh, yeah.
The special effects team that worked on this thing. There were shots that just really, like, the whole summer I've been waiting for movies to make me, and I love saying it, wow. Make me go, wow. This movie made it happen several times.
I think it's his most carefully crafted, his most beautiful, his most complex. And the thing I like best about this film, it's a big budget summer explosions film for the art film crowd, and that just cracks me up in and of itself.
You know what? That's I have to say that's very true. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, I tell you what else, man. I did not understand and did not like about this.
Go for it. Tell me, Corey.
We won't believe you, but go ahead if you feel like letting it out.
Keep complaining.
Where were the midget clown monkeys on unicycles riding around? The things people have weird dreams. It's like
Let me ask you something. In all
Where
your years
were
of
the
dreaming,
zombies? Well, I was like, where are the zombies at?
Yeah, you know-
one of these guys had to be dreaming about zombies. Come
When
on.
have you ever dreamed about a midget?
I dreamed about a midget once, but I can't tell you anymore.
last
than
night,
that.
and he had your face.
You a damn lie. You ain't
I
never
dream about you a lot,
in your
Leon.
entire life. None of us in here. No. Ever dreamed about a midget?
More often
Yeah.
than not, when you dream, they're fucking boring. Nothing really happens. I mean, maybe the place changes, or suddenly
that explains
the
this
guy
movie.
who's your best friend now is like suddenly your second grade teacher or something, and it just you don't even understand
Yeah.
why. It's just the way it happens. But nothing like you're not fighting zombies and shit. That happens if you're lucky. Once every 6 months, you get a cool dream. You wake up and go, awesome.
Hey, I do.
Most of the time, you're like, oh, whatever. It's just co-host explaining to me why he liked some horror.
Well,
movie.
it would have been the worst nightmare scenario if I was waiting for it to happen in this movie. Is like right when you're about to bang like the hottest chick you're ever gonna bang.
Oh.
Right when you're about to get in there, all of a sudden you just wake up and then you're like, what the fuck? And
Now, I have to admit, that happens to me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Tell
like
me about
in
it,
the
brother.
movie,
Yeah.
they say, hey, the only way to get out of this is to shoot yourself or kill yourself and you wake up. No, put a hot chick in front of me I'm about to have sex with. I'll wake up immediately.
No, I'm the same way. I get kicked right before. You're like reaching for a boob.
In fact, that you about to have sex with that chick. She's the one that kicks you in your ass out the dream. Get the fuck out of me.
and then you try to go back to sleep, and then you open up your eyes, and all of a sudden it is Freddy Krueger. And he's like, "I'm your girlfriend now, co-host."
Yeah, no. Or even worse, it's Corey.
I know.
No, it's
Hey, you already came into my head.
actually I'd rather fuck Freddy Krueger than Corey.
I was about to say, I think some of the chicks you brought home have been Freddy Krueger. I'll take a burn victim home
I
tonight.
was gonna say, man, come on, man. He was being generous. Who else is gonna screw a burn
I was like, there you
victim?
go, projecting again. That's you, dude. When you bring home those 90-year-old wrinkled women, they look like burn victims.
Hey, listen to y'all.
That's you.
Oh, that's you. No, that's you.
That's you. No, that's you.
Oh no.
Oh, Amy. No, man.
Some skilled debaters.
I would totally fuck a chick with one leg. Oh, shit. Are we still?
In your dreams, Cyrus.
I thought no one would.
I thought
hear
you
that.
have been.
I mean, there's so I'm thinking about this, man. I'm thinking about it hard. I'm gonna go ahead and give my rating right now, and it's funny because I was leaning towards full price or a high matinee, and really thinking about this hard. I think I'm probably gonna go like a really low full price on it because I'm thinking about all the movies I've seen this summer. This is probably the second best thing I've seen this summer as far as just imagination, creativity, ambition. I really can't think of anything that's tried to come close, even though I do seriously think it failed on the story level, which is very important to me. I mean, that sounds serious.
He's very serious.
That's
here.
important to me.
You gonna be all right? Give him a hug, Leon.
But yeah, I'll give it a very low full price, and it's just something that I would feel bad if I told people not to see because I do think that an effort was made there.
Damn. Okay, that's a backhanded compliment almost. Yeah, I'm just not as enthusiastic about the movie as you guys. Like I said, I don't fault you for liking it. For me, the score was oppressive and tried to make everything seem either epic or tension filled.
Well, you know who did the
quiet?
You know who did
The same guy who did that.
I don't dislike the music. I
Your
just
mama
thought
did
there
the
was,
score.
there was too much of it.
It was
My mom was damn talented. The music's good, but it's just
How can you not like the score?
It's just too much, and in scenes where I thought, hey, how about some dialogue?
Well, I was going to say the reason why you probably thought it was depressing is because they had Hans Zimmer plus the guitars from the Smiths.
Well, I wasn't thinking depressing, but anyway, it missed what its key elements for me, and is that human touch, the interaction between characters, the dialogue that makes me really attach myself to some of them. DiCaprio, the whole thing, it's kind of a pet peeve for me when you have the generic character who wants to get back to his generic family. I'm like, I don't really know these kids, so I don't really feel that. You're just paying lip service. It's got some great visuals, some cool turns, some things we haven't seen before, and lots of imagination. And yet, at 3 hours, you know what? For me, any kind of movie that's about a con game or a mind fuck, I'm with it for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But 2.5, it tries my patience. And I just came out of it just kind of like, wow, I'm really glad that's over. And to me, it's a low matinee. Almost works better as a rental because then you can watch it several times and slow it down.
So, it's funny. I'll never understand you especially, Leon, because you're always like, yeah, that's too long. But I know you'll marathon TV shows just like I will. You'll sit there, watch 3-4 episodes, an hour-long show, no problem. And I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong with the 2.5 hour movie?
There was no time for him
Well,
to take a
I don't
shit.
get that.
No. You marathon TV shows, there's a lot of highs and lows and ups and downs.
Sure.
Whereas this is like one thing that's going on way past its time. It's like I said, any kind of mindfuck movie, I know, okay, there's basically 3 endings that they're probably going to have to this. And it had one of them. It's like, okay, when it ended, I was like, yeah, I kind of figured this is where this was going to go at 30 minutes into it.
Huh. Okay. Well, I didn't get that at all. I thought this was, I've said it over and over again, but it's a puzzle box and it's a great one. Is it a little cold? Maybe just a little, but not so much that you care with everything else that's going on. I mean, it's like being asked to solve, the audience is being asked to solve this movie, and the solution is in fact given to you, and all the pieces are there for you to put together, but you have to be wide awake, you have to be really paying attention, and you have to actually like that sort of being put in that type of position. There's nothing, you're not dumb or anything if you don't. You're just not the kind of person who enjoys that sort of thing. I am, and I thought this was a major work of art. I really do. This is a high full price movie for me.
Ooh, now, just thinking about it, honestly, I was going to give it a full price. The more I think about it, the more I actually love it. Hearing your review, Corey, and the way you gave it a full price, I mean, I want to be true to myself if I didn't give this movie a better than sex. only because I'm still thinking about this movie. And unlike you, Leon, I fucking love that score. I mean, yeah, even when there are parts where it really, maybe it shouldn't be there, I still wasn't bothered by it because it was an amazing score. But you know what? The thing is, the concept of the idea of the movie really did surpass the actual story itself. But I still enjoyed the story very much. I was very involved, very intrigued. I was really rooting for these characters, all of them, honestly, just to get the fuck out of there. Especially Joseph Gordon-Levitt really sticks out in this movie. And the thing is, he has very little dialogue, and god damn it, that guy should have been fucking Spider-Man. Now I want him to be Robin in the next Batman 3.
Why don't you just marry him?
But other than that, he's a great, he's doing very little on screen. That says a lot about you. If you can really hold my attention with doing very little, you know, as far as a character, you're doing your job. You're acting. All right? All right, Cyrus? You got that? Is that going to be all right with you?
Okay.
You know what, and what you just said, you really made me outline what the problem was for me, is that we learn all about DiCaprio's motivation for going in there. You have the whole, like, get the fuck out because it's so dangerous, the situation they put themselves into, and yet I didn't really feel anybody else's motivation to take this on.
And can I add something to that, too? I didn't think that the subplot with him and Marion Cotillard, his wife in the film, who there's some plot twists and secrets with that. That didn't work for me either.
You know what? That did work for me, and his reason for going in there wasn't for her. Mm-hmm. That's just the way things ended up playing out.
But
not at all. But the reason
without
that
giving
they
it
were
away.
in there,
I mean, I wish I could say why that without giving it away.
They didn't spend much time going into the whole, like, opening the big briefcase full of money sequence. In fact, they barely touch on that at all, but they do establish that these people are being incredibly well paid to do what they do, to take on this job. And that's why they're all in, because, like I said, this is a heist film. This is about a bunch of criminals who are pulling off this master heist, except instead of stealing something valuable, they're being paid a ridiculous amount of money to put something valuable into someone's head.
And Leon, let me say real quick before you interrupted me there.
I'm sorry.
I disagree.
Tell us how much you love this film.
You're doing it again. Right.
He's only gotten done with the prologue.
Look here though. Leonardo, I did enjoy his character, and the whole plot with his wife, I understood that. It didn't take away from the film. But what I still don't get about you is the soundtrack. I want that soundtrack to be playing when I steal fucking Corey's credit card and I'm trying to fucking steal porn. When I know he's right at the door about to open up, I want to hear that soundtrack.
Yeah, you better watch out. Hans Zimmer sounds like a badass. A name like that, Hans Zimmer is coming for you.
Hans Zimmer.
I have a problem with Hans Zimmer. I have a problem with the guy with the volume control, because Ken Watanabe, as good an actor as he is, he's still kind of hard to understand.
He is a
and they
little
would
hard
crank
to
the sound up as he was talking. I'm like, God damn it, I need to hear what he was going to say.
Well, I'm with you on that. I love the soundtrack to this.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Leon,
Corey.
what the fuck?
Honestly, they need to
How is
incorporate.
nobody understanding
They need to incorporate
Because
this.
the soundtrack was too loud.
What are you?
Oh,
He's like
man.
an 80-year-old man.
I know.
Cut it down. He's even a theater like a silhouette. Cut that shit down already.
I can't hear that Chinaman.
All that African music.
You better get that soundtrack out of my yard.
But you know what? That soundtrack though, I swear to God, I was waiting for Batman to like come crashing through a roof somewhere, just hearing that.
That would have been the only
Well,
thing
that's
that
what
would have
always
made it
happens in your
better.
dreams.
Because honestly, almost like the entire cast of Batman was in
I
this
know.
except for Batman.
Yeah, didn't you just keep waiting for Christian Bale to make it?
I know. I
Or
was
at least
like
come out
in
and
a
start yelling at
snapshot.
people.
I know.
Yeah, come in Christopher Nolan's dream. No.
You know what? Christian Bale is at home enjoying the new Mel Gibson tapes too much.
Yeah. Thank God.
He's right now. He's
Him and Alec Baldwin is somewhere
Yeah.
sipping mojitos and clicking their glasses.
him, Alec Baldwin, and that fool who was eating that hamburger on the floor.
Oh, David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, and they all taking a toast. Told you that motherfucker would slip up at some point.
And right now, Christian Bale is making a dance mix to fucking Mel Gibson's brand. That's what he's doing. Back a nigga, back a nigga, back a
Dreams collapsing.
Have it under control.